Hi, this is Carrie Cooper for Guitar Centre's Focus on Rock. Tell me, do you think it would be alright if I could just crash here tonight? And so begins the upbeat, bouncy desert grunge song, Hey Jealousy. But reading the lyrics and knowing the writer, Doug Hopkins, there's actually more than a bit of tragedy here. Unfortunately, there are many a tragic story weaved into the world of rock music, and the Gin Blossoms, and in particular the unfortunate suicide of its former lead guitarist and one-time key songwriter Doug Hopkins, is one such tale. On the 5th of December 1993, having been sacked from his own band as he dealt with personal demons, the musician took his own life, while the remaining band lived out their dream of stardom largely off the back of his own songwriting catalogue. So where and why did it go so wrong for the grunge band from Arizona, and what did the legacy and demise of its former guitarist do for the band's ongoing career and future creative output? During the late 1980s, the early roots of some of the greatest and most dynamic grunge bands were taking hold. Many of those that dominated that scene were from Seattle, but the Gin Blossoms' roots, however, were in Arizona. Their sound takes us back to a time when flannel reigned supreme, the landscape of music was diverse, and though associated with grunge, might be more accurately referred to as Southwestern sound or Mill Avenue sound. To set the tone for the level of angst the group was setting out to portray, their first full-length studio recorded album was aptly named New Miserable Experience. The trouble began in early 1992 when founding member, songwriter and guitarist Doug Hopkins was becoming heavily reliant on alcohol, and in turn, which is so often the case, led to a fast track and certain track to clinical depression. Some of those working alongside the band had spoken about how Hopkins would turn up too drunk to play coherently, and A&M were talking of dropping the band altogether. And then the creative bomb was dropped. Fire Hopkins and continue working on the deal without him, or have the entire band and their collective dream of recording and touring cut loose. A decision that wouldn't have been come to lightly, and made all the more difficult by the fact the majority of the material on the album, including the hugely successful song Hey Jealousy, was written by Hopkins himself. Remaining band members just couldn't face having the conversation with Doug themselves. And so they drafted in the help of former manager and friend Laura Lewin to deliver the bad news. Now, due to personal circumstances, Hopkins was forced into selling his publishing rights off at a snippet of their potential worth, and from there, all he could do was watch on as his former bandmates surfed the wave of rock notoriety, all to the soundtrack of his own writing. Released as their first single, Hey Jealousy would swiftly go gold. He hung the gold record for 2 weeks before taking it down and destroying it. How would he feel when he would hear the hit? When it comes on the radio, I turn it off because I don't really want to hear that, he said. It doesn't make me feel good or anything. It's my song, but I don't enjoy it. I can't listen to it. To get it to where it is now, and now it got yanked out from under me, I'm a little on the disenfranchised side. The darkness of Hopkins' suicide would forever cast a shadow on the work and performance of the Gin Blossoms. Robin Wilson of the band would tell People magazine, without Doug and his songwriting, we never could have signed a record deal. Even Doug admitted we couldn't have succeeded with him in the band. Then Wilson adds, after a pensive pause, he also felt we betrayed him. Who's to say whether the Blossoms made the right or wrong choice? Hopkins had been struggling with mental health issues for quite some time, and had previously attempted suicide 9 times before that fateful day on the 5th of December 1993, when he snuck out of the detox unit of Phoenix's St. Luke's Hospital and bought a .38 caliber pistol. That day, the dark side of making music would finally take Doug Hopkins for good, thus making his lyric a bit chilling, because all I really want is to be with you, feeling like I matter too. This is Carrie Cooper for Guitar Centre's Focus on Rock. Shop for the greatest selection of music gear on earth in store or at guitarcentre.com.